Hello and welcome to the Heresy Lodge. I'm your host, Dylan Cooper, the constant host over here.
Gavin Franklin.
And guys, we are here this week to review the very hyped up Saturnine by Dan Abnett.
Did it live up to its hype?
I don't think so. It's
I don't think
good.
so.
It took 300 pages to get actually pretty good.
Yeah, the ending was great.
Yeah. I still think Lost and Damned's my favorite so far.
I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. I am pumped for Warhawk and very scared for Mortis.
Yeah, I feel that too. But before we get into the book, guys, as always, hit us up on Discord and you find that pinned to our Twitter at Heresy Lodge. You can email us at theheresylodge@gmail.com. We're on YouTube at the Heresy Lodge. We have merch. Gavin's wearing it right now. Check it out. If you play Tacticus, check out Pants of Horus at discord.gg/Pants of Horus. Let them know the lodge sent you. Those are the things, I think. Gavin, alcohol, what you got, my man?
You know, every single time we go to a winery, I love how like when we get asked, it starts with a story. It always starts with a fucking story. Like it should just be.
I have a story too. I can't wait.
All right, we're gonna just tell stories. Every time we go to a winery, Katie's like, "I'm gonna buy like 6 bottles." She's got, a fucking.
You have to buy so many bottles to get the better deal.
Exactly. So, and it's all like the wines that she wants because I don't know. I like when
I don't know why it's the wine she wants because you're the one that drinks them, Gavin.
I know. I fucking know. Okay. So this is the conversation.
You should start picking.
This is the conversation that eventually happened. It wasn't brought on by me. It was brought on by her. She was like, you drink way more wine than I do. It seemed like an attack.
Whoa. I am not an AA, ma'am. It is okay.
So she was like, you don't even like sweet wines, which I really have not liked recently. So every time we go to a winery now, she's phenomenal partner. She's like, oh, you should get this dry wine. Like I forget because when I drink like in public, I don't even think about drinking at home. I think about drinking in public. Like, buying alcohol to go is just not something that is on my mind. So
I know that's why you keep ending up with shitty drinks.
Exactly, 100%. So she purchased me, and now when we go to winery, she'll try to get a dry wine. I'm kind of debating on whether or not to bring out the Gen Con wine at some point, but I think it'll be a special.
Does a Gen Con wine?
Gen Con had the Gen Con wine, the wine of Gen Con. There's a bottle of it. I've got it. Hold on.
What? Right. I did not know this. Who was it from? No.
Yeah, here it is. Dragon's Blood, Gen Con.
Who made it?
Daniel's Family Vineyards.
I've never heard of them. Where the fuck did you get this?
They're literally like they had the Sun King stand that sold the beer of Gen Con, and then the winery part that you and Connor kept telling me I was a pussy to go and drink when I got the wine slushy.
I called you a pussy for the wine slushy, all right. Wine itself is great. I'm a big wine guy, all right. I'm basically a connoisseur.
Dragon's Blood. I'm thinking like if you had this, would you open it?
Probably.
Probably.
Is it sweet or dry?
It's dry.
I mean, it'll last, but probably not that long. Knowing, I would open it and probably keep the bottle.
Yeah, I mean, like, what's the fucking point of wine?
Exactly.
I never understood aged wine. Just like,
yeah, like we for our wedding we did a wine box, right? And dry wines keep, so we have a dry wine that the purpose is either you have a fight that could end the marriage. We both have a letter in there. We read the letter and share the wine.
With battle.
Or after 5 years, you do it. So, yep, we have 2 more years.
Dang, I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought about stealing that idea from you because I fucking love that.
Do it. Idea. We stole it from her brother.
Genius idea.
It's really cool. And like we're not like religious people, so like we didn't We didn't want to like do the cross, and it's like didn't get married at a beach, so doing the sand would be
Oh,
weird.
I'm gonna do the cross.
You would.
I would.
Back to and if you're moving back here, you can go back to your cult.
What is the wine I'm drinking today? That's the question, right? We've made it all the way back.
Oh yeah, you didn't mention that.
This wine is fucking disgusting.
Oh man.
It is from Prodigy Winery, which in my opinion is it's my least favorite winery here in Lexington.
So it's not a Prodigy.
No. I don't want to like talk shit about it, but they're when you go and
I'm sure they're listening.
When you get a tasting, a Prodigy Winery, they serve it to you. First off, it's like a shop barn, is what the winery is. I don't know where they're making their wine. There's no vineyards around.
That's always
and
sketch.
they serve it to you in alchemy tubes, like chemistry tubes.
Okay.
But you can't drink from them.
It's a cool concept. Oh, that's stupid.
You have to pour them into a glass.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. This is the Chamberlain. Chamberlain. CHAMB.
Okay.
OURCIN.
That's not
Chamberlain. It's 12.5% though.
What type of wine is that?
It's a Chamberlain.
There's no way that's a thing. I've never heard of that, and I've gone to a lot of fucking wineries. Are you sure that's not just like the name of like what they call theirs?
I don't know.
I'm gonna look at Prodigy Winery. This is gonna be a whole fucking thing.
That's all it says. It's in horse country. There's a picture of a horse. Every fucking winery around here has got pictures of horses on their shit. I don't know.
Well, you gotta get hype up on the horse races.
And I'm drinking it from my medieval times glass because medieval times is cool.
I've actually never been.
You're fucking missing out. I honestly think that like one of the things I
belong there.
Yeah, I think you belong there. One of the things I've really wanted to do at some point in time, maybe like for an afternoon of my bachelor party, is go to medieval times with a bunch of fucking dudes. I think that would be a great time.
I mean, I'm probably the one in charge of planning that, so I can maybe make it happen.
We'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. What are you drinking? That was a 13-minute explanation of what I was drinking. What are you drinking?
My wonderful wife, for my birthday, got me this pressurized growler. It is 128 ounces. And so what did we do this weekend? I had to go to breweries to see what I wanted to fill it up with.
Fuck yeah.
So we ended up at Upland in Fountain Square. Mm-hmm. They have a farmhouse ale called the Sit-in Ale. It is actually a collaboration of a bunch of different breweries. It's a collaboration with The Tap, Switchyard, Quaffon, Metalworks, and Feed Store with Conservation Law Center. That sounds...
It's a great brewery.
Should be on the list, but it's very good. It's part of like their like trail series. I don't know. I really like it.
It's great.
I'm already almost done with my 20-ounce cup here, so I'll be refilling very shortly.
Right on. I love that. I'm so excited to get back to Indianapolis breweries. Here's the thing. Lexington is like no breweries, but they have my favorite one locally. So like I think Blue Stallion is the brewery they have here. I think it's better than all of the breweries in Indianapolis.
Really?
But like 9 breweries in Indianapolis take second place. That's the problem.
I think I need to try some of this beer because there's some good breweries here.
It's just because it's German. I'm a big Helles fan. They have
is that where? Yeah, I got a drink. Okay.
Put it there.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Helles.
Yeah, it's really good. Big fan. So,
never mind. We'll talk later. This is an audio problem.
We'll talk more about beer. maybe later. We'll see.
Look, guys, we're gonna have like 70 episodes between Into the Death Part 2 and Into the Death Part 3. So
still trying to figure that out. Games Workshop really fucking dropped the ball on us.
They fisted us.
Just
dry.
I'm pretty sure what happened was they were planning for 2. All the writers were listening to our podcast hearing us talk shit, and they said, let's fuck them up.
I agree. If Dan listens to the last episode, he's like, man, fuck those guys.
Fuck those guys.
And honestly, after finishing this book, I do not change my mind on Dan Abnett.
I agree. I don't change my mind either. However, I did. I have the physical copy, the hardback, and they have the afterwards in it. So I read like Dan's thoughts about.
I almost read it this morning. I decided not to.
It's hilariously aligned with almost everything we're saying. Where he's like, yeah, he just talks about like, it's really fucking hard to do this because you're given just like very little info of like where you got to get and what you got to do in this span. And like, yeah, I'm really good at writing combat, but that shit gets boring real quick. So I got to figure out ways to go around it and do other things. And he just echoes a lot of the thoughts that people have, I guess, when reading some of the books. He talks about adding new characters and why he does what he does. So yeah, it's really interesting. I feel like Dan could just I would love to have Dan Abnett on this podcast. He would have so much insight into the whole process and like writing a book and the problems that he has with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first question I would ask him though is why the fuck he makes shit up randomly.
Let's get the elephant out of the room here. We can't get him out. That's the problem with elephants in rooms. Is like you can't.
They're too big.
They're too big. You can't get them through a door unless you're in like a warehouse.
Yeah,
we're
if
not.
an elephant showed up in my house, like it's safe. The house is owned by the elephant. Like I can't do anything about it.
That's the elephant's room. Whatever room the elephant is in.
There is no way he's getting out. I don't know how the fuck he got in.
That's where he lives. I'm not taking down the wall, so I'm building a stable for the elephant. That's your room. So Dan retcons some things in this book, and not only does he retcon some things, he makes some decisions on things that
he makes shit up.
Kind of crack me up. We're talking. First off, there's two we already discussed. The first one is Cinderman apparently being a remembrancer. Just wasn't true.
Remembrancer and also like barely religious.
Yeah. So complete 360 from the Cinderman that we've had previously. One of the things, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't think the way we're gonna review this is fluid. I don't think we're gonna do like a fluid start to end. We're just gonna talk about things in the book.
It's hard to do that with this book, I think, because there's a lot of storylines
all over. So
and kind of some random shit like I don't care about.
100%.
And also just didn't conclude, so it's just kind of like, okay.
Cinderman is tasked by Dorn to reestablish the Remembrance Order, which is strange. Don't know why that happens. But he also tips Dorn off to a weakness at the Saturnine wall. Cinderman then goes to the Saturnine wall as a part of his remembrancer. Like that's what he does. That's what he's assigned to. And it gets introduced that like Loken and Garo and Sigismund and all of these
Question.
like A-team.
Why the fuck did they have random code names? That has never been the thing through any of the books.
Oh yeah.
Ever.
It was pretty cringy. I'm not gonna lie.
I am naysayer. You're fucking Loken. Trickster? This is Trickster? Calling in. This is Trickster. What? Why is this a thing?
LARPing?
I mean, I'm pretty sure Loken was LARPing at one point in this book. We just get punching guys in the nuts, though.
Kick to the balls. Kick to the balls. So, yeah. When they introduced Loken to the group, there was a lot of just like moments that I was like, well, this doesn't make any fucking sense. Why is this occurring? I'll give you moment A for me, where I was just like, I kind of wanted to put the book down. Ark and Land.
First off, I love Ark and Land.
Genius. Love the guy. Phenomenally written character. He just doesn't give a fuck. And like he's trying to solve shit and everyone else is getting in his way.
Yeah, agreed.
Archenland, the whole premise of this book is like due to the bombardment, the tectonic plates have shifted to where there's been an opening underneath the Saturnine wall. That's what I understood from it. That makes sense?
Yep.
They task Archenland with inventing a quick sealing concrete mix. Okay. And then they expect traders to arrive under the Saturnine wall. So to solve for this, they were like, hey, let's send kill teams to kill them as they come up. Okay, making sense to me. My first question, though, was why not just flood them with the quick freezing concrete and then they all die?
Yeah, like have everyone at the, I don't know, the door out.
Yeah, and then just seal everyone in the concrete. And I thought, okay, because they said, oh, it's about the finality. We need to kill all the people to make sure they're dead. And then I thought, okay, that must mean that the concrete, there's some way to escape. There's not. Because they eventually did do that. And all those fuckers died in miserable ways.
Yeah.
Terrible, miserable ways. Like getting frozen in concrete for eternity, but still being alive, kind of miserable ways.
Yep.
So I have no idea why there was even a storyline about trying to kill all the people underneath the wall.
Yeah, I don't know either. But people died under it.
People did die. There were a couple people. So first off, there was a guy called the Black Shield, which apparently is a pretty big character if you listen to the audio dramas that were not printed.
Oh, cool. That's exactly what I love to hear. I'm like, holy shit, yeah, that's awesome.
Then we get a Blood Angel. I can't remember his name. If anyone knows,
someone I've never heard of.
Never heard of this guy.
Apparently, he's a badass.
Yeah, out of nowhere, like the most badass. Like you know him by name, apparently. I don't. Yeah. Never heard of him.
If it's not Raldoron or Amit, is that big of a badass?
Escalon, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
They both die. Garo almost kills Abaddon, which was fucking sick. That was actually an awesome. Now, here's the thing. The whole tactics of it make no sense. The writing of the killing of all of these people under the wall was fucking awesome. It was a great story. So much fun.
The Logan and Axenon fight. It's like, what the damn?
Yeah. I love Dan Abnett. I think does combat better than any other writer. I will give him that. Like way better than any other writer. And in a 40K universe, that matters.
Yeah. I do think he's the best combat writer. I think ADB is the best story writer.
I agree.
Chris Wright's probably like right there on second with ADB.
Because you're just a White Scar fan.
Graham is great at making like crazy shit.
Sagas. Graham makes sagas. He makes.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about this. Graham does like amazing tragedies. If it's not a tragedy,
it ain't a good book.
But yeah, all super well written. We do get the death of Aximon, which was cool.
It was cool. It was really fast though.
But I appreciated a little bit that it was.
I like that it was kind of, but like Aximon's supposed to be a badass, right? And Logan fucks his ass up. Like it wasn't even like really a contest.
The death of Aximon.
Why is Garo's sword just like so fucking sharp? They're like, damn, that's a sharp ass sword. That can get through anything.
Fuck, it can just fucking go. Like you would think in the land of Warhammer, if your sword can cut through anything, like that's it. Like you just
like, Loken was like fucking sharpening Rubio's sword for like fucking like 70 pages. And it was still dog shit until he randomly became a psyker, maybe.
Right, yeah. We get the revelation.
I don't know what that is.
Who gives a fuck? He's definitely gonna die here soon. Like, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it ends with Loken, I'm saying.
Loken dying? Yeah, probably.
I think it's gonna end with the line that he was there the day Horus
You
slayed
think
the
he
Emperor.
lives? You think
I think he
Logan lives?
lives.
Interesting. I mean, we won't know for another year and a half, but
We'll be dead before
Mhm.
because it's gonna
Well,
take 8,000 pages to read through the fucking Person A.
if they if they keep making me drink as much as they do, Dylan, I'm not gonna make it through Mortis.
That's a long book. We're gonna have to drink a lot for that one.
We get the death of Tormegadon,
Oh,
R.I.P.
yeah, I was about to say that too. Yep.
R.I.P.
Also
Tormegadon.
from Loken. Loken just is like, fuck the Mournival, I'll kill them all.
Demolishing the Monument. Love it. We get. I'll tell you what. You know whose death was? I was like, man, I kind of wish they went a little deeper into this character. Tybalt Mar.
Yeah.
I actually, over the course of the Horse Heresy, like grew to really like Tybalt Mar's character.
He was the one that was like hunting down what's his face from the Iron Horse,
Chadrick.
right? Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
That was a good character.
The part where he just like fucking murders him.
Yeah.
He starts saying like, "Oh, I'm gonna find you, and I'm gonna." It just fucking kills him right there.
Yep.
Great character, and I can see why they literally killed him first because the idea was like they don't want people to have read Horus
Yep.
Heresy in order to read the Siege. But as far as character deaths go, I'm like Tybalt Mar really deserved more, in my opinion. I think it was a phenomenally written character previously by Nick Kime. Nick Kime killed it. Everyone's just shitting on Nick Kime.
He deserves better. Old Earth is a great fucking book. Anyone who shits on Old Earth didn't read the book.
Speaking of Nick Kime and Old Earth, one of the funniest fucking lines in here. Do you remember this where Dorn's like reflecting on lies and
Yeah.
he thinks about Vulcan?
This is
And
actually like the fucking tweet and from or was it
Gaff.
Nick? Yeah, Gav Thorpe about how Dorn was surprised.
What's amazing is it doesn't line up at all because I 100%. I'm like Dan Abnett is like I got to fucking cover for my man Gaff. So he wrote something in there about like how Dorn lied to Sanguinius and the Khan by like overreacting to not sow discord. And I'm like,
yeah, he was surprised because Malcador said that Vulcan was there. It's like, oh, what the fuck, Malcador?
that's fucking weird.
I agree. Why are we not saying, hey guys, Vulcan's here?
Not to get venture too deep into this, but have you opened up Fury of Magnus at all?
No, I finished Saturnine this morning.
Do you
At like
know
10 a.m.
who's on the cast of Fury of Magnus?
Who?
Fucking Vulcan.
Who's defending the fucking gate, man?
Vulcan's there. All the
He's-
salamanders are there.
Turns out he's actually on Nocturne.
You know who else is in the fucking cast of Fury of Magnus? The fucking Perpetual from Moloch.
Well, thank God.
I know, right? But where is this person? Because Severin's
It
been
is a book
back
that Graham wrote, so I guess it makes sense. He's like, hey, I better connect this shit.
like what is amazing about this is amazing. Graham has not written any Siege of Terror novels, which I think is a detriment. I don't know why Graham did not write the Siege of Terror novel.
Yeah.
But and they're giving Dan Abnett four of the books anyway. Graham's like, here's all the stories I wrote throughout the Horse Heresy. Let's come to a conclusion. Let's come to a head here in the Siege of Terra. And what I think is even funnier is they didn't give Nick Kime any Siege of Terra novels.
Yeah, that's fucked.
And it kind of seems like Nick Kime went to Graham and said, can you write about Vulcan being at Terra?
For the love of God.
Graham's like, yeah, because I'm devoted to finishing these fucking stories.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot that aren't fulfilled. And hell, we get a new perpetual in this book. And it's just like a real perpetual. Because apparently the other perpetuals might all be fake.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about this story. This is fucking insane. This story's nuts. Like, I'm surprised I've never heard of this before. Have you ever heard of this? This whole story?
No.
Never. And I've been on like Wolf Lord Road talking about the Emperor. Everyone talking about the Emperor. And they're like, yeah, we've got no idea. And I'm like, well, apparently you should.
Apparently, he's had a side piece this whole time.
So, John Grammaticus, the man with a plan, he arrives on Terra. And he's trying to find All Pearson. So he arrives. Good old All. He arrives at this place that he's supposed to meet All Pearson at, which is coincidentally the home of another perpetual.
No. A real perpetual.
Real perpetual. And he has a conversation with her. I don't remember her name.
Esh. It's
Ash.
like Ezza or Eska or something like that.
Yeah. And this conversation is crazy interesting for so many reasons.
Like, first off, it's incredibly confusing considering the Sisters of Selenar consider themselves the mother of the Astartes.
Yes, so it turns out this perpetual, I don't even know where to begin. Let's start from the beginning. Turns out the Emperor, okay,
he
fucked, but he is a perpetual. Now we know the Emperor is a perpetual, but that in this conversation
also, so is Malcador.
Also, so is Malk. I can't. Let's fucking get to that because that also blew my mind.
Yep.
So, Emperor's perpetual. Obviously, we knew that, but apparently, like that's what the Emperor is. Like, that's the way this conversation made it seem. It's not like the Emperor is like more than a perpetual. He's just like a really powerful perpetual. Is basically what it's laid out as. So, like,
he's a perpetual. It's a psyker, but on steroids. I don't know.
Each perpetual is a psyker, but not every psyker is perpetual. But he's just like a really powerful psyker perpetual.
Yep.
Now, no one knows where the perpetuals came from. And so, like, there's that like founding theory that it was through like shaman sacrifice, which seems to add up considering the fact in Betrayer, where they like did that ritual and that one girl died and it became a perpetual. That makes some sense. But he wasn't even the first perpetual. Didn't know this. This is also news. Who was the first perpetual?
Wait, did I miss this? Was this actually Malcador?
No, it's
All Pearson. Yeah,
All Pearson is apparently the first perpetual.
He's real old.
He's real fucking old. He's older than the Emperor, which is nuts because that was never talked about as his character.
Not once. Also, like, Ol's whole story is weird now. Assuming he's the other person in this book.
Oh, he's not.
He's not.
No, I'll get to that. Because I kind of have an understanding of what that is. So, essentially, this perpetual met the Emperor when... This is nuts, too. Never knew this. No one fucking... I've never seen a video talked about this. His name previously was Neoth?
Sure. Yeah, the Emperor had a name.
Emperor had a fucking name. This was the name that she knew him as for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Now, she did say he's been by many names, but I have never once ever heard that the Emperor ever had a name. So, don't know. I don't know why all these YouTube videos are like, the Emperor's this, like, who fucking knows? No, he's a dude named Neoth, guys.
Yeah, well, I mean, apparently the Sisters of Silence and previous books could see what he actually looks like. So I'm imagining like a fucking just like tiny dude, just a real skinny guy, just chilling.
Just a fucking dude.
Kicking his legs on the throne. It's like fucking 5'9", 180.
You might be thinking, hey, what does the Emperor want? What does he do? Turns out, he doesn't really fucking know. He just wants humanity to be better. And this perpetual is telling us that, like, he believes that that means all of humanity becomes perpetual psychers.
Sure.
Which is so bonkers compared to the fact that the council in IKEA happened. So I don't know where the Emperor's at now.
Well, psychers are bad, bro. Except for like me and like my like compadres. They're cool.
Only guys. So the best thing I can get, and I can't wait to do a video about the Emperor again because this conversation just fucking fucked everything up. Is the Emperor was like super pro. So, like, I don't think the Emperor's had like a plan since day one. I think
No.
his plan has drastically changed like every week. Because at one point he was like, "We're going to be all psychers. It's going to be sick as shit." And then the warp started to be weird, and he was like, "Turns out psychers are no go. We should be using the web way." So the other thing that blows my mind, if we go back to history, is like basically the Emperor started his whole plan with a group of perpetuals. And this group included 3 individuals. One is this girl, and there were more individuals, obviously, but one was this girl. The
There's
other
like
one was
5 of them, they said.
there was like a whole squad, and
I think
like
it's like 5.
apparently some perpetuals fought the Emperor, and some perpetuals didn't give a shit. I'm only assuming that that's all Pearson.
Yeah.
And there's so many layers to this that doesn't make sense. But anyway, then there was another professional named Astarte.
Yep. I thought that was weird.
So apparently the Astartes are named after the perpetual that helped create the Astartes.
Yep.
And fucking wild, Malkador the fucking Sigilite.
Yep. Alrighty.
Didn't know Malkador was a perpetual.
No. Which makes it even more confusing with how how he dies.
And like how old he is.
Yeah, because we don't no one ever says how like old looking old Pearson looks.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
No one. Hell, fucking John Grammaticus is like, damn, this chick's still hot as fuck.
Yeah.
So apparently Macador's the only one that ages.
And not only that, like he looks ancient as fuck, apparently.
Yeah. Fucking barely getting around with his huge ass cane.
Like, what a bad year to pick up being a perpetual. You're gonna stay this old forever. And when
it's
you
gonna be
die,
fucking miserable.
yeah, it's so rough.
Yeah, I don't. The whole perpetual thing is weird, and like it talks about how what's her name? It's like Ezra or Eska or something like that. She's talking to John's like, "You're a fake perpetual.
Also
You're
wild.
you are created by the Cabal to be a perpetual." Which means I guess all the other ones also were like Damon, all just created by Eldar? Question mark? Like what?
Which is even weirder because the Cabal does not mean Eldar. The Cabal is made up of like tons of perpetuals from other races. So like it's very strange to me because you wouldn't necessarily call the perpetuals like human perpetuals, even though that's like the pantheon we're kind of talking about right now when it comes to the Emperor.
Yeah.
It's almost more like, oh fuck, what's the superhero Green Lantern? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's like a whole fucking dynasty or group of
Yeah.
people that are the Lanterns. But yeah, so apparently the Eldar made John a perpetual in order to work for the Cabal. Now this adds so many layers of
How
problems.
the fucking long has he been working with the Cabal then? Like, did they just like randomly like pick him up one day? It was like, is this like fucking aliens taking like cows type of shit? Like, you like showed up at a farm and like just grabbed John and was like, "You're a perpetual now, motherfucker."
I think so. I mean, John had to. We know that John had to be a psyker.
Yep. And but it's not even like a crazy OP power. You can just understand language.
That guy picking that fucker up.
that sounds fucking cool. Let's grab that motherfucker.
So
Let's take his cows.
where I think he was weirder is like we've established that John was made into a perpetual from the Cabal, and that all Pearson is actually the oldest real perpetual. But we know in a book that Dan Abnett wrote, No Fear, that All has worked with the Cabal.
Yeah.
That was like a whole thing.
Yeah.
Like John was getting him out of retirement.
Yep.
So John's like this fake perpetual that they needed that they made, but then all the Ultus perpetual is like, yeah, I'll fucking tag along too. Like, how does that work?
Yeah. It's weird. I don't really get what they're trying to do here. It just seems like kind of just random bullshit.
It's very strange. And then you have to think of like so many levels to this. She also stated that she was the one, and I don't know what this means, but she said she was the one to disperse the Primarchs. She was like the mother of the Primarchs.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I think we know that it was the Chaos Gods that a warp rift opened.
It's
And
Arsenal
she
Tall.
opened. Yeah, we also know it's Argyle Hall. So I'm like, what?
Yeah, apparently
So
she dispersed them, and the Emperor just didn't care enough to find her.
yeah, she was like,
I mean, she's just so hot that he's like, maybe I want to tap that later. I'm not gonna be that mad.
Sir, she destroyed your entire project for humanity.
Have you seen that pussy?
Like, I'll tell you what. Let's let her go in the desert for a few years. We'll see how she comes out later.
She can suck a golf ball through a water hose. So she's all right.
You wouldn't understand. No, you wouldn't understand. So I don't like the whole thing. It gets even more complicated when you think about the fact that like we also know that the Emperor went to Moloch to get chaos powers from the Chaos Gods to
and they were pissed that he like didn't fulfill his part of the deal. So they're like, fuck you.
So what does all this mean? Did the Chaos Gods show a fake lie to Argal Tall, and it was really this girl, but it was the Chaos Gods acting through this girl to enact the. I'm assuming it was the shut off of the Geller Fields is what she actually did, because that's what Argal Tall did, but like who fucking knows at this point?
It's
confusing. I don't know. It's weird. Another reason to not read the Horus Heresy.
It's actually a shit series. Yeah, that makes no sense.
Knows what happens. And that's what's so frustrating is like every single thing that gets written in this series is like,
but did it?
Canon. It's never canon, and it's so frustrating. So that's that conversation. Let's talk about All Pearson for a second, because we do get another All Pearson.
Yeah. What the fuck was all? What the fuck's this dude's the other guy's last name? It's Pearson. Really close to Pearson. Oh, it's actually Pearson.
Yeah, Pearson. Yeah. Here's the deal. This is what they tried to do. So they established the Order of Remembrancers, and this one guy, Harry, was sent to Eternity Spaceport.
Yep.
Which we all know is fucked from the beginning.
Yep. They're like, yeah, we're gonna. So we got 4 points. They're all very critical. All right. We got the spaceports. Something else. Dylan's butthole and Saturnine.
We gotta defend Dylan's butthole.
That's the most important one that we must protect.
Loken away from our balls.
He will punch the shit out of them. He thinks they're a speed bag.
Anyway, he finds this. He gets he's on the way to Eternity Spaceport, this Remembrancer, Harry, and he meets this trooper named All Pearson. And you're like, oh, Elanius Pearson.
Yeah.
Pearson. And you're like, that's kind of weird, because we know an All Pearson also that Dan Abnett wrote into existence. I'm going to make this super short. He becomes religious on the way and eventually dies, and he's like a hero. Like all these stories are being spread about him because of the courageous acts that All Pearson does, Elanius Pearson does. And then he dies standing down Angron. So no one was there to record him
Oh,
stating
wait, was
to
it
Agron.
Pius?
Yeah, Elenius Pius.
So I was talking to Trainwreck, and we're talking about old lore. And old lore talks about an Olenius Pius who saves
The
or who
Emperor.
dies. Yeah, saving the emperor.
This is what they were trying to get at. And Dan Abnett wrote about this in the afterwards too. Is it's been 10,000 years. And so the whole point of Harry's story is like it gets brought up multiple times. It's like stories are stories, and you just kind of believe in them because that's what gives it power. Is
Yeah.
like the concept of the story. It doesn't have to be truth, doesn't have to be lie. It has to be something you believe in. Maybe it makes you more courageous. So the point that they were trying to make with this was like maybe Elenius Pius raising a banner and doing all the shit that he did eventually over 10,000 years made its way to sacrifice himself for the emperor and protecting him from Horus.
Which is weird.
I think that's a big red herring.
Yeah.
I do think we are going to see Elenius Pearson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they also kept like making sure they called him Olenius between John and whatever the fuck her name is, Esha, blah, blah, blah. And in this what's his name, Pion or Pius or whatever, he also was like, oh yeah, but first name's actually Olerius. And they're like, oh, that's so fucking old. You old motherfucker.
Can we talk about the other frustrating thing that happened in his story, though? Apparently, he's the only person ever to be able to see a Sister's Highlights.
What the fuck, man? This is such a stupid fucking random ass thing that Dan did.
Apparently, people can't physically see.
Which we know is not true in like 35 other books.
Pariahs are invisible.
News to me. I feel like the Pariah Assassinorium would be way fucking better. Because I mean, we have fucking we had them talking to them in Flight of Eisenstein.
Or Flight of Eisenstein. Yeah, I mean we had
and Talon, the fucking guy saw the chick. She wasn't even a pariah. She was just a sneaky bitch.
Yeah. No, I mean we had the in Fear to Tread.
Yeah, Fear to
Tread there. That humans were talking to.
Yeah.
All the time.
All the time.
Who is
how like uncomfortable they made like she made him or made them. Oh, that one was by that's Swallow? No, not Swallow.
Yeah, Swallow. You're right.
Okay.
It's Swallow. Yeah, so pariahs are now in this book invisible, which was written solely for the purpose of making it to where anything that she did appeared to be an act of the emperor and increase people's faith.
I just don't understand why they became invisible. Why is this a thing now? Like, because I mean, James Swallow did like all the Sister of Silence stuff. Basically, he did like the short stories and everything. Dan, read any of the fucking books, please.
Any of them. God
books, damn it.
James Swallow's books, Graham McNeil's books. Just pick it up, read it.
Like, I get like you also like have like a Marvel contract and need some Marvel stuff, but Jesus Christ, man, come on.
Yeah, I can only imagine like you're never going to get an author in an interview that says, yeah, I didn't read the other books in the series. That has to be true.
That's like the one like I would love to have Dan on here, but I would have to question that shit. So I'm like, come on, man. Like why did they become invisible?
So he talked about in his afterwards how like he had like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of emails that he compiled over the course of 4 weeks between
emails. He didn't read the books. He just
between
checked some emails
where he's like asking questions. And I actually think now that I've been through this, I've decided that the writers of the Horus Heresy are a lot like Supreme Court judges. So I've
Okay.
decided there's two camps to the writers. You have the purists and you have the people that are willing to interpret it as metaphor, right?
Sure.
So the purists, who I believe is Dan Abnett, are like, yes, we have the original lore written in 40 pages. That is what we're going to write. If there's anything outside of this, it is incorrect, and I don't want to focus on it. For instance, like Vulcan was never written into the Siege of Terra until Nick Khan was like, let's fucking do it. Right? Dan's like, nah, I'm not going to talk about him. I'm not going to bring him up. And like at one point, right, the original lore said, and this is something that happened in the afterward, right? The original lore said that Sanguinius saw Angron slaughter at the Eternity Spaceport from across the way, but it was like hundreds and hundreds of miles.
He has such good eyes. Like, he ate so many fucking carrots.
So Dan is like, I need to find a way to get Sanguinius to see through Angron's eyes. And I'm like, why? Fuck it. I don't give a shit. Like,
yeah.
You're telling me that like you need to write in a book, like you need to work around this idea that someone was clearly wrong about in the original 40 pages.
In a random fucking codex that no one ever actually read.
Exactly.
All they wanted were the data sheets.
Because he's a purist. He's a purist of the lore. Graham McNeil's like, fuck it. What if like Magnus was jacking off on a pylon somewhere? If we write about that, it's gonna be wild. I almost gave away a plot to the theory of Magnus, why I came up with jacking off on a pylon.
Turns out that's actually the entire book. It's just Magnus jacking off. You know how hard it is to find porn when you're this big and this red?
The ritual will only be done when the entire pylon is covered with my cum.
I am so dry.
It's the one thing
I've watched it all.
It's the one thing I can't change. These are my load sizes.
Well, I gotta wait a couple of days to refill here.
Graham McNeil's like, I've got 200 pages worth of material. And half of it is Magnus struggling through the next jack off session.
I feel guilty, but it's also kind of hot.
I'm at the point where I'm thinking about Mortarion. You're reading some fucked up shit.
Look, there's Mortarion and there's horses and there's it's all I can find right now. Okay,
man. Honestly,
those beastmen are getting hotter by the day.
We can also talk about Sanguinius. Sanguinius is a character in this book that really shines in one chapter.
Where he turned into a god.
He fucking murders a Titan
by poking it in the eye. Nah, the spear of Telesto. Yeah.
And the sword of Encarmine. I'm gonna tell you fucking what, man. I did not.
Spear's apparently more OP though.
I did not intend to memorize the names of those weapons, but they have made it physically impossible not to know them.
But is his sword sharper than Garo's sword?
I don't remember. Wait, Garo's sword's name is. Do you remember the name?
Oh, I should. It said it like 35 times.
I don't remember the name. I know Aximon's sword name because it's the stupidest fucking name in existence. Do you remember Aximon's sword?
Mourn it all.
Mourn it all. What the fuck is that? There's 3 weapons that I know in this entire series.
Oh, Libertas.
Libertas. That one's pretty close.
Sharpest motherfucker ever.
I know Mourn It All, the Spirit Telesto, and the Sword of Excarmine. Those are the three weapons that I've memorized. I know
Oh,
Dorn's
that's interesting. So I looked at Libertas. Libertas is the goddess of freedom. Libertas was associated with the concept of citizenship and the rights of individuals in ancient Rome. She was also worshipped by those who sought political and social reform, and her image was often used as a symbol of resistance against tyranny and oppression.
I kind of like that shit, and here's why. Because Garo, during like majority of the story, literally reported to no one. He was like, I'm just gonna fucking roam around and do what I fucking want to do. Malfador's like, wait a minute, you're a gray knight. He's like,
I ain't shit.
I'm a yellow knight today, motherfucker. I'm gonna go do
What was
whatever
this
I want to
fucking
do.
stupid ass code name?
Oh, I don't know.
It was
I don't remember. All I remember is
Trickster and Naysayer.
Naysayer. So fucking dumb. Can we go back to that battle? Because there's a scene in that battle that I want to talk about that was like so fucking weird. And it was the Dorn and Fulgrim fight. Badass fight. Don't get me
Very
wrong.
cool.
Written.
Dorn, better fighter than I expected.
Dorn fucks. Dorn fucks hard.
He does fuck. He definitely goes up my rankings, I think, after this book.
I agree with that. After all the things in the Siege of Terra, like Dorn is kind of the Primarch. I mean, Dorn, Khan, and Sanguinius all go up. And Sanguinius was number one. But after seeing him fucking murder Warhound Titans, I'm gonna make him number 0. Like this guy's a monster.
So you're just gonna poke a fucking war. You just poke it with a stick, and it's like, oh shit, it blows up.
One thing that kills me about this fight scene between Fulgrim and Dorn, though, the fight scene, phenomenal. The ending,
What the fuck?
I was like, what the fuck is this? So
Fulgrim turns into a snake and then runs away.
it's literally what the fuck happens.
And then Doran Sigismund's like, all right, I guess we'll kill all the fucking captains other than Lucius.
All of the captains that have been written about in all of the stories. I mean, it's fucking wild. Dorn.
Where's Lucius?
He's not even inferior Magnus. I fucking hope he shows up. I'd be pissed if he doesn't.
He's just AFK. We see Edelon. Edelon is apparently as strong as the Primarch now.
Apparently, Edelon can just destroy a wall from 3 miles away.
Also, this is the same Edelon who was like, who Loken had told him was a stupid motherfucker in book 1.
Book 1.
And now he's a god. I don't know.
This is amazing. So, Dorn kills Fulgrim, and Fulgrim doesn't die. He goes, I can't die. This is literally what Fulgrim goes. He's, I can't die. You stupid bitch.
I'm a snake.
Get off the sword, turns into a snake, and goes, well, whatever. This shit's boring. I'm out of here, gay boy. And then fucking flies away.
With the rest of his legion.
Apparently. I don't know.
Which is like 5 people left, apparently, because
I don't know.
Dorn fucked them all.
The Legion makes it out of there. Because literally they're like, the whole Legion is on this wall. And then Fulgrim flies away, calling Dorn a gay boy. And like, apparently they can all still, there's plenty of Emperor's children around to just be a thing.
Yeah, they're them and Lucius. I don't know where the fuck Lucius is at this point. Apparently no one else gives a shit about Lucius other than everyone who's read the Horus Heresy.
And yeah, it's a fucking amazing character. Amazing, like the best Emperor's Children character by
it's the one they built up this whole time. Like Edelon was talked about and
killed and then brought back to life.
And that all happened in short stories.
Yeah. So what's amazing about this is like as Fulgrim is flying away on his little magic carpet with the rest of the Emperor's children, apparently. Dorn is left face to face with like 9 Space Marines, one of them being Edelon, which, by the way, doesn't go well for the Emperor's children. And Edelon, who's a character that they've also been building up like crazy, who's like literally created his own mini Emperor's Children League, like an actual fucking character who's kind of intriguing. Dorn just throws him off a wall.
Sure.
Does he die?
Sigismund randomly is like cool with Dorn again. Kind of.
Dorn tells Sigismund to shut the fuck up like 3 times in this book, though, and it's hilarious.
Yeah. Then they like fight back to back, and they're like, "Oh damn, you want to do like a reach around?" And Sigismund's like, "Yeah, maybe."
I love the fight back-to-back reach around. Like Dorn's like, Sigismund, I need to reach around. Sigismund goes to grab for the nuts. It's like Dorn's like, I'm not trying to reach around.
Logan's like, "You gotta punch it."
So that whole like Fulgrim, like, fuck it, I'm out of here. So weird. Like Fulgrim's completely fine. Like he's not injured in any way, shape, or form. He can just leave with as much of his legion as he likes. And he's just like, I'm fucking gone. And what's even more funny about this is at the end of the book, Doran's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure Fulgrim's gone. How do you know? He just called you a gay boy and flew away. But apparently, yeah, Fulgrim's out of it. Like Fulgrim and the Emperor's Children do literally absolutely fucking nothing during the Siege of Terra.
And he like brings like a fuck ton of people to the Battle of Saturnine. And they all just get murdered by like 10 guys.
Yeah, no.
And Doran's like, "Look, dude, I only need like 5 people in a hole in the wall." And like they're all dead. He's like, "What the fuck? You so smart."
This is how they should have written it, right? They should have written it just like this. Everything would have made so much more sense. As the Emperor's Children approach the Saturnine wall, Doran gets an alert, letting him know all the information about the battle. Fulgrim is here. The Phoenician has arrived. And Dorn, very cool and relaxed, says, I've prepared for this. Enable the butt plug walls.
And it's just Fulgrim getting fucked in the ass over
and
over.
It all makes sense. It all makes sense. It makes sense. Like the Emperor's Children aren't busy fighting, they're busy fucking, and they die because of it.
Yeah. And so like their sound is so loud it just blows out every single intercom ever.
So OP. Like they literally destroy a void shield of a wall by screaming at it. Okay.
All Vox systems are down.
That's not OP at all. They become super OP, bring their entire legion, and then get repelled by like 30 guys.
Dan's obviously never played tabletop.
Like, listen, I'm adding up the point values to all of the units. Yeah, you got a lot of characters, but so that's a story that I thought was interesting. Now we've been shit talking this book. This is the second best book of the Siege of Terra by far.
I agree. Yeah, by far.
It beats out what do we have here? First Wall easily beats First Wall.
Beats First Wall definitely beats Solar War.
Dan is an amazing writer. He I don't think he does story well, but he does writing well to the point where I'm like, everything he's writing, I'm kind of intrigued.
Except for chapter length and chapters in general, because they make no fucking sense.
Absolutely all over.
Especially for audiobooks. Like audiobooks are so bad for his books because it just jumps randomly. Whereas like if you're reading it, you can kind of like almost see like the end of like one chapter onto the next, but it's actually the same chapter. But like if your audiobook it's such a quick jump, it's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I'm through Angron's eyes. The next thing I know, I'm Dorn fucking Fulgrim in the asshole. I'm like, whoa, what?
Whoa. what audiobook did you listen to?
What do you mean? You also the same one?
Oh geez. You know what's really lacking out there, guys, is the R34 porn for Primarchs.
You obviously have not been spending enough time on our Discord because Fallen finds it all for us. She's on it.
If you're into the R34, apparently we're a great place to go to.
Yeah, go to the memes channel. Apparently it's all Slanesh demons fucking things.
For some reason, when two drunk people will start a podcast where they talk shit about a series, they attract a lot of R34 artists.
It's fine though.
It's all good. Works out.
Is there a storyline we're missing here? I feel like there is.
I mean, we have Euphrates Killer, in prison.
Oh yeah, the whole prisoner that she's talking to. Apparently, that was a short story. That prisoner
That prisoner's a short story.
in the Primarch's novel. He is the one that Horus comes. He goes to, and like it's full of fucking like zombie things.
What the fuck are you talking? You mean the book Primarchs?
Yes, the book Primarchs.
The book Primarchs had the Lion, Alfarius, Fulgrim, and Ferris Manus.
There's more than 4.
No, those are the only 4 in the book Primarchs. Swear to God.
We're looking
I'll
it up.
fucking open it up right now. I got it right here. You're making shit up. Let me see if I can
Look, this is what Tremor told me.
It might be in a Primarch's novel.
Okay, first off, there's 17 stories, so you're already off.
No,
Vulcan's on here. Corex is on it. Oh wait, hold on. This might be all.
you're in the wrong thing. I'm literally looking at it right now. Primarchs, right here. There's 4 stories.
Wow, that is so fuck. I can't read that at all. It was so fake.
The Primarchs, there it is. I'm looking it up. Look how many numbers there are. 1, 2, 3, 4. See it?
Man, Trainwreck, you lying son of a bitch.
Trainwreck, you fucking ass. The reflection cracked, which is by, of course, Fulgrim. That's where they shove the shit up his ass.
Yep.
Feet of Iron, it's Ferris Manus. The Lion. I don't think that's about Horus. And the Serpent Beneath, which is Alfarius.
Yep. What was the third one?
The Lion.
That wasn't that one.
That's the one where he finds the.
So there's supposed to be a short story. Here, I'll just read to you. Short story about Horus and Luna wolves attacking some planet, and all colonists are dead, but they have turned into crazy weird monsters. It's the one where Sejanus leads the assault. There's only like one story with Sejanus.
Well, he was in the story about the silversmith that created the coin, but I don't think we've read that. I don't think we've read that. I don't know. It must be in the Primarch series. It must be a short story in the Primarch series. Let me see. I've got it all right here. These are all the short stories. Look at this fucking book. In the Primarch series. Jesus.
Okay,
Christ.
so Janus showed up and Thousand Suns, Horus Rising, False Gods, Death of the Silversmith, Fear to Tread, and Sigismund the Eternal Crusader.
None of those.
Yeah, we haven't read any of those.
What the fuck is Trainwreck even coming up with here?
I don't know. Trainwreck? You're on ice, buddy. It's thin.
We're gonna go ahead and put you on a warning. You keep coming up with fake lore. Coming up with fake lore, throw us off. Man. Yeah, as far as Saturnine goes, I can't think of anything else to complain about.
I'm trying to think of like anything like I want to praise it about.
I mean it's an
I don't like John's. I was very interested in John's story, but I don't like where it's at right now.
I like how he's like
they're trying to find Ol Pearson. That is his whole thing right now. Him and the random Astartes that's hanging out with his mom, I guess.
His mommy.
Yeah, I guess like they're gonna go try to find Ol, who's like 2 weeks ahead, maybe.
Yeah, it's like a time thing,
which is very confusing.
You get the death of a random blood angel. I think Dan Abnett really wanted to tie.
Oh, we lost Xiphon.
Xiphon. He was like, well, Xiphon's a character. Let's kill him.
And Arkham Land actually asked about him.
Yeah, this is kind of nice. I mean, what I do enjoy about Dan Abnett's writing, he did write about this thing afterward, is like any character he brought in, he did a lot of research on whether or not they should know everybody, all of that stuff. Which, I mean, if he would have just read.
I feel like I doubt that.
Like
after reading the book, I don't know if I agree with that statement.
He was like, we had a long email chain, and I think you're absolutely right.
We didn't talk about Camda Diaz. And you're gonna say who? And I'm gonna say I agree. Random fucking Iron Hand or not?
No. Camda Diaz is an Imperial Fist. I know Camda Diaz.
Yeah, we knew him for Return of Dorn. Apparently, he didn't fucking matter.
Yeah, I actually don't remember where Camden Diaz is from. No, he's the guy.
We did talk
Yeah.
about Shaban Khan.
I know who Camden Diaz is. Camden Diaz is. Camden Diaz was the other Imperial Fist that was with the one that got renamed to Archimedos. So
Yeah.
Camden Diaz is like the third person and he dies. So that was
Yep.
that was like. Shaban Khan though, that actually kind of fucking crazy. I
So
don't think
that
he dies.
story, I don't think he died either, but that story was kind of. It just seemed like at the end, like Dan like randomly like was like, "Oh shit, I forgot I wrote this story. I better try to like say something about Shaban Khan." And it's like, "Oh yeah, so like Shaban Khan like jumped on this like gravity thing, and like some stuff exploded."
I do. I just don't know how I feel about it. I'm torn. I'm torn because one side of me is like, I love that at the beginning they were like, the Eternity spaceport's gonna get fucked, and then it did. Like it
It
got
did.
fucked. But the other side of me is like, I wish it would have been a little closer. So the idea that like at certain points, like we're gonna create gravity weapons. I'm like, oh, that's gonna be in a really interesting fight. And then they were never able to use the gravity weapons because
Yep.
they all just blew up immediately. And Shaban Khan was on there. So
Also, we have Abaddon storyline where Abaddon. So I was really confused by this because wasn't it Abaddon who kind of noticed all the Saturnine shit, brought it
yeah.
to Porto Rabo. Porto Rabo was like, no. But like as Abaddon's running away from getting his entire fucking Justarian fucked by
Yeah, he almost
Garo
died.
and crew,
Car almost killed him.
he was like, "Oh man, fucking Porto Rabo played me. Like he like tricked me and like coming into like this idea." And I was like, "What?" Because
Well,
that was not how it was, like how I read it. Because that how I read it was Porto Rabo talked, or Abaddon talked Porto Rabo into it.
I think Dan wrote this brilliantly, actually, looking back at it, because yes, in the scene in which we have Porto Rabo, Abaddon was talking him into it. But think about what Porto Rabo committed. Abaddon and the Emperor's Children, who we found out later are completely worthless. And I think
Fair.
Abaddon,
Although it's interesting because Dorn's also like, bro, if they could figure out the fucking Emperor's Children, they would have fucked us hard.
yeah, but no one could. No one could.
They're too busy trying to fuck.
They're too busy trying to fuck. You get a few butt plugs and you can beat a whole squad of them. Like that's it. So I think Porter Rabo was playing the fool. He was playing the fool.
Think so.
I think so. I think Porter Rabo played the
I don't
shit out
know
of
because
Abaddon.
like I imagine like 40k Abaddon with Porto Rabo. So like I I have a hard time seeing it that way.
I really do. I think Porter Rabo was like, oh, yeah, you want to go to Saturnine. I think Porter Rabo
I don't think Saturn I
immediately.
would want to throw away troops.
Here's the
It's all
thing.
about besting Dorn.
This is the scenario Porter Rabo got faced with. Does Dorn know about Saturnine? Porter Rabo probably gave like a
Well,
little.
he said he's like, oh, he already figured that out. There's no way he did it.
He probably, yeah. This is the thing. Porter Rabo was like, I bet Dorn's figured that shit out. So I don't want to send Horace. I don't want to send someone useful.
All
I don't want to
is
send.
Horus useful because he's been sitting on a fucking chair this entire time.
I agree with that. That's
We're
true.
in book 4, and he's only sat on a chair.
So Porter Rabo's like, Abaddon, you're a genius. Great idea. You should take the Saturnine wall just in case Dorn hasn't figured it out. And we'll send you and Fulgrim. Yeah, you get in contact with them. I can't talk to them. You go ahead and figure that shit out.
I mean,
You're a
in
commander.
Porto
You
Robo's
can't even-
defense, I also would not want to talk to Falcon about the shit he pulled.
Yeah, exactly. Fulgrim, like Porter Rob was like, if I'm wrong, what great way to get rid of Fulgrim.
But at the same time, like, there's not very many traitors, Primarchs, right? Like, there's Fulgrim.
But that's not the problem. The Trader Primarchs are like, we have Primarchs. The trick is You got so many fucking men you can just throw at a wall.
Allegedly. I
Allegedly.
mean, it's just a made up number every time.
Yeah. Oh, can we talk about the end? This was weird.
This part.
The part at the very end on the phalanx where they get hailed.
Oh, yes. I was also, first off, why the fuck do we care that Nusira, of all places, got blown up? We know
Oh,
that Angron does not give a shit about that planet. He hates it. He actually didn't go back to it until like the end of his like, story arc.
so
Like,
you're
they
telling
weren't
me,
recruiting people from there.
are you telling me that the lion
Was
waited an
being
extra
stupid.
5 months to get to Terra so
I
he
am
could blow up a
surprised.
rock? Nuts.
Also, he killed the people, like the people in charge there.
No, he killed everyone.
Yeah.
The whole planet is
What
dead.
was the point?
It's a rock.
Yeah. So for those that have not read the book, we get a revelation that Nusira was blown up, and magically the lion and Gilliman are on their way. What?
As if Nusira was like the last one. We know historically that what's the one I'm thinking of? The Death Guard homeworld.
Yep. Barbarous.
Barbarous destroyed. We know that. We know that
Also a planet no one gave a shit about.
the World Eater, not World Eater, Word Bearer homeworld.
You
Whatever
almost
the
said
fuck it is.
Cthulhu.
It's destroyed.
Yep.
And we know that Chthonian doesn't happen until after the war. And we know that the Alpha Legion came from nowhere. Prospero was already destroyed.
Yep.
Angron destroyed Nyseria.
Except for the planet itself. He only killed everyone politically on there, apparently.
We forgot about the rock. The only one that has been up in my mind that's like, where is this? Because Olympus, first off, Conrad Kurz actually blew up his home world.
That
Didn't just
Conrad
kill
Kurz
everyone.
destroyed Nostrama. I'm pretty sure Portarabo destroyed Olympus as well.
I'm pretty sure he did too. I think the only world that was like, I don't know where this world is Chemos. I had no idea where the Emperor's children, but they don't give. I mean, they just give up regardless.
They just say, whoa, you're not trying to fuck me, I'm out.
Yeah, Volcom gets stabbed in the gut, and he's like, "That wasn't where I wanted that."
Yeah, that hurt. I'm out.
So yeah, apparently, Corswain shows up at the end, which is like weird.
Yeah,
weird to me because Corswain was the one person that was supposed to be involved in the
whole the Dark Angels storyline.
Caliban storyline.
Yeah, Caliban, that was it.
But apparently, he just shows up. Okay. But he's the only one. Like, it wasn't Gilliman. It wasn't the Lion.
Corswain,
who we've literally heard very little about other than the time he got his fucking ass beat by Sevatar.
Yep.
So, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. What are your rankings of Saturnine?
Ooh, okay. This is what sucks, is we've been talking so much shit about this book because there's so much shit to talk about. And I mean, honestly, I just enjoy talking shit. But in reality, this is like an 8.
Yeah, I agree with an 8.
This is an 8. It's a great book.
It's good. I think Lost in the Dam's better.
Yep.
Lost in the Dam, I think it's just written better.
I agree.
Just cool stuff happens though. Like, I really enjoyed the fight scenes.
Dan, I mean, I never was bored, but I also never wanted to pick the book up, if that makes sense.
Yes, I 100% agree with that statement.
It's like, I'm enjoying myself, but as soon as I put it down, I'm ready to just kind of be away from it. Yeah.
Agreed.
Period Magnus next, though.
Yeah. Kind of pumped for it. I miss Graham, despite what we say about Graham. He's hit or miss, but he's a cool dude. So I'm hoping
we
it's
have
a
Vulcan.
Good read. Yes. That's more than how the others care about. So that's it, guys. That is the review of Saturnine. As always, hit us up on Discord, pin to our Twitter at Heresy Lodge, email us at theheresiolodge@gmail.com. Check us out on YouTube at The Heresy Lodge. If you're on Tacticus, check out Pants of Horse. discord.gg/paintsforest. Buy our merch. It feeds my children. Maybe buy Gavin a house up here so we can hang out more often.
Maybe give some more content in the battle report arena.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll do that.
Since
That's
we
it,
have
guys.
such a long space between the last book.
It's gonna make 3 years. So that's it, guys. Have a good one.